Hey guys and gals, I'm Dan Young with Dan's Millionaire Code. And as you know, every single week I bring to you an amazing entrepreneur or influencer, somebody who's changing the world in a great, amazing, good way. And as you know, there's no cost monetarily for this podcast, but I ask you to pay for it in 3 ways if you find it beneficial. 1, execute what you learn from the super master Jedi that I bring on to the show, sharing their wisdom. Execute. Don't just listen, let it go out one ear. Execute so you can be successful too. 2, if you find it beneficial, share it with friends, loved ones, people you know that could benefit, that are thinking about starting their own business, or even if someone works somewhere and they just want to be better off as a human being and improve your career, make sure you share it with those friends. And 3, if you get financial gain based on the knowledge you learn from this, so any of that financial gain, I want you to take 10% of your net profit and donate it to a good, great charity. You know, I like Operation Underground Railroad that helps save the kids that are being trafficked and kidnapped and organ harvested. Operation Underground Railroad, we love those guys. And also in Park City, Nuzzles and Co. Is a great charity I love to save the dogs and cats from being killed. And they have a great adoption center. So those are the charities I love. But support what you will, 10% of your net gain. So let's get into today's guest. This is phenomenal. Today's guest is my friend, unstoppable entrepreneur, and I want to make sure I got your name right. Ali Hynek?
Hynek. Everybody says Hynek. It's okay.
Ali Hynek. I got it right. CEO and founder of Nena and Co.
Yes.
I got that. That's my mother's nickname. I call Nena.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I was like, that's easy.
Yeah.
Ali runs the Bohemian Couture fashion brand that focuses on handbags and textiles with a strong focus on design and marketing. Their website's awesome. Her marketing's great. I told my marketing people, go look at her website.
Thank you.
It's really organized well. Nena and Co celebrates the unique heritage and talents of artisans around the world in countries such as Guatemala, Mexico, Ghana, Morocco, and here in the U.S. With its responsible growth and strong community values. Incredible culture with her company. You can just see that coming out of that. It's amazing. And they use the tagline, wearing values. The success of Nena and Co. has allowed Ali to better the lives of hundreds of artisans and families, providing fair living wages, access to medical services, and offering opportunities for education. So you're doing a lot to give back to your people.
We try to.
We met at Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Both of us were nominated.
Yeah.
I didn't take first place.
Neither did I.
But hey, they say sometimes it takes a few times.
Yeah.
So we'll keep going.
Yeah.
But it was cool hanging out with all those entrepreneurs.
It was.
So tell us about Nena and Co. and the awesome empire you built. How did you get there?
I started because I loved my family and I loved Guatemala so much. And I was born and raised in the U.S. I'm first generation. My mom was born and raised in Guatemala. She's full Guatemalan. And I felt like I needed to have this connection, a greater connection with that side of the family. So I really it was like just that desire to like be a part of the community there and feel that in my family more. So yeah, like I love to travel. I've been to over 60 countries.
Wow.
I love it. I feel like you can learn so much from the world and from people. And so I loved it, but I would go traveling and I would find these textiles and I'd obsess over it, buy it, bring it home, and then I wasn't really sure what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how much work would go into these like really works of art, people looming by hand or beading by hand, just like gorgeous, but like it doesn't fit into what I'm wearing right now or my home. The decor doesn't match up or the quality, maybe they make this really beautiful thing, but it's framed with like cheap leather, cheap hardware. Yeah. So I thought I can take something really, really special and make it more appealing to, more Americans that would, and I was hoping that they would find the value in what the artisans were doing. So I really thought I had to present it in a good way. I mean, another thing I really want to do is connect the consumer to the maker. I want them to know who's actually making their things, because in a world where we're headed towards so much fast fashion, and I hate the term disposable fashion, throwaway fashion.
Yes.
It's like it makes me cringe, because that's exactly what it is people that are getting paid almost nothing to make these really cheaply made items that we buy and we literally throw it away. I was reading some statistic where It's something like over half of what's being consumed in America is being thrown away. Like clothing is being thrown away within 6 months.
That
Like,
fast?
really fast.
You're just chucking it?
Crazy fast, which is
Wow.
causing this like landfill problem, which I mean, donation centers aren't even really, a lot of them aren't even accepting some donate because it's like, we just have so much stuff and so much junk and people, it's not high quality. I mean,
So it's junky stuff. It's not good.
yeah, it's like, it's just not,
Chuck it.
yeah, just get rid of it. You don't feel bad about it. But so what I'm trying to do is focus on the makers, focus on the quality, because it is done with like indigenous weavers. That's another part of our mission is to give these women and men in the most remote corners of the world, in Guatemala and Morocco, like you mentioned before, the opportunity to really showcase what they do and what they love. Mm-hmm. Which is a lot of it is weaving. We focus a lot on weaving. So weaving like this. This is a woven bag strap. And so, yeah, it's kind of just like taking us, I went into a lot more detail than you.
No, this is cool.
You said, where did you start? And that was like a lot. But it was really this, I think a lot of us entrepreneurs start with one idea and it kind of snowballs into something you weren't really expecting. Wow. So it was more like, I mean, don't you think?
Yeah. How'd you get there? I mean, so you thought about it?
So brass tacks, like how did I get there? So I actually just didn't think people would be that interested in what I was interested in, like the style, the look of it. So I actually just bought some things from the markets in Guatemala, and I designed my own website. I designed my own logo. Yeah, I did everything myself. I did customer service.
How'd you learn how to do all that?
I kind of studied. I did a little bit of graphic design in college for a little bit. I didn't finish in that, but I've always had an eye for design, I think. And
your site flows, so I look at it, and you could tell, because sometimes like we struggle. We're kind of a bunch of computer nerds here, and our site gets very computer nerd, mathematical. Yeah. Numbers, and, but yours has emotion mixed in with transaction.
That's a very big compliment. So
it's pretty cool.
Thank you. It's because I say we have to be storytellers because we're not.
I'm gonna write that one down.
I say we're visual storytellers because there's so much information that you could learn about what we do in the process, and most people aren't willing to take the time to read. What's going on, like how it's made. So I always tell my team that they have to look at something and understand what the story is by just looking at it, just glancing over and understanding like, oh, she's making something. Oh, as a result of her kneeling down and looming, this bag was created. So you have to flow. The website has to flow because otherwise it's just too much information for you to have to like learn and get into with being like a first-time customer. I'm always thinking of that first-time customer, what their experience is like.
It is. It's like a book almost. Like you see it and there's a story and it's an interesting story.
Right, yeah.
So do you write these stories? You got a bunch of people writing these stories?
I am the main copywriter for my website, but a lot of it's because it's my experience and my perspective on how I'm trying to get more of my team to understand it through my eyes, and I'm definitely getting there. We do have a pretty high retention rate of employees. We don't have high turnover, which is really nice. But it's just like there's so much information to learn about how we make things that it's hard to get somebody to tell that story for me. Mm-hmm. So, and it's so personal. Like stuff on the website is so personal. People's life stories and their process and how their grandmother taught them how to make, taught them how to weave, and that person's mother taught them how to weave. And so there's just so much information.
So you capture these stories and relay them.
Yes. And I'll take a team down to Guatemala with me now.
Oh, okay.
So that they understand, because I obviously can't continue to do that. I have 4 kids under 4 years old, triplets that are 3, and a 6-month-old. So it's not sustainable for me to always be the one doing it for sure. But yeah, I have, a creative team that we go down with cameras and we try and just retell the story over and over. And that's another thing I'll say is you can't just tell your story once. You have to tell it over and over and over and over. And even though we're tired of kind of telling it, maybe there's just
customers aren't tired.
They're not tired of it. And there's so many new people that are like, oh, wait, who are you? And, you have to, it's like, let's tell it again and let's tell it excited again. Like, can't get tired of it,
We have a little rule here. It's like a template that I teach a lot of our marketing people. We have lots of marketing people. And the first thing that we do, like in our websites or anything, is we try to entertain people.
Mm-hmm.
So something engaging,
Yeah.
right? And that's part of maybe the story.
Yeah.
And then we like to educate them.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, what goes into this, right?
Right.
And then we outfit.
Okay, tell me what that means.
So outfit is your call to action so that they can transact with us and own one of our products
Yeah.
and experience that themselves. So we try to transfer that emotion, that enthusiasm, what goes into our products.
Yeah.
And then they get to live that and have those same feelings when they're using them.
Yeah.
So it sounds pretty similar.
No, it does, especially because you said we try and entertain them. So tell me how you try and entertain them. Like playing a game or something? Is that?
Well, for entertaining them, it can be done with visuals.
Mm-hmm.
So for our gaming computers, we'll show them we'll show pro gamers and things like that, and how they're living that lifestyle, and how, look, those were just normal people that bought our computers and experienced playing games or competing semi-professionally and then professionally and made it a living for themselves.
Yeah, that's crazy.
From nothing, and they bought a little computer from us, and or they became a famous video game designer, or they became a movie production director.
So you're doing these stories. You're sharing their stories.
Yeah, people can see. So we have like a big pool of real life influencers that are using our equipment to create.
Yeah.
And it kind of ties into the entrepreneurship mentor thing that we're doing with this.
Yeah.
And that these are people who, are mentored by some of these other influencers, and they can do the same thing.
Yeah.
And make a great living and have fun.
Yeah, totally.
Using that equipment. So.
No, I feel like I want to interview him because
ask me away. I will
we're
ask
coming
each other.
from such different ends of
Ask questions too.
Okay, I will. I'm going to do that. I'll finish your question though. So I started by purchasing just stuff from the markets in Guatemala, and then I realized there was so many inconsistencies. The quality was really low. I found so much value in the actual textiles that the weavers were making, and they were just. I like to describe it as a beautiful photo being framed in a cheap, frame, and what it needed was a beautiful frame around it, meaning nice leather, nice hardware, a beautiful silhouette of a bag.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You see amazing. Like I've traveled a little bit too, and you go to all different countries like Europe and Africa.
Yeah.
And right, that is amazing.
Yeah.
But it falls apart because it's all glued together poorly.
The application is kind of like, dang it! Like I wanted to have something forever, and
it was like almost like Red Bull when it was like some Thai uncarbonated vitamin elixir.
Yeah.
And then some company turned into something that people wanted to drink, right?
Right. Exactly. The packaging.
Yeah, and the marketing and connecting with the American consumer.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
You're a master of that.
Well, thank you. Yeah. But so we went from the market to using vendors that would manufacture the bags for us. But we would get things that, like, where's our order? It's coming in late. Or one thing led to another, and we realized that not all the employees were being treated well, or they were not being paid at all. And so I kind of thought, like, we come from so much privilege, just even being born in the United States. So much benefit from that. And if I can't help these people that I'm, toting their culture, and it's my culture too, but what they're able to do and their skill set, if I'm not helping them, then what am I even doing? Like, it didn't feel good. So we actually decided to manufacture ourselves.
Wow.
So we now manufacture, we source, we have patented leather, not patent leather, it's top grain or full grain leather, but it's our own like formula for our leather. And so to Nena, it's Nena leather. And then we have our own network of weavers. We manufacture everything on our bag. We make ourselves.
Really?
Yeah.
So you guys.
I mean, the hardware, the factories are sending it to us, but we're actually asking for specific things, and they're sending it. But it's the closest you can get to making.
So you're custom configuring everything.
Everything, yeah,
like we do.
Yeah. So, and we do that for the quality, for the construction, for the warranty, for people to trust us, type of thing, and so that I know that everyone in the process is being treated as fair as possible.
That's cool.
Yeah. So now we mainly produce in Guatemala. That's like our hub down there. And that's when I talk about like medical benefits, scholarships, and education and stuff like that, is that we make sure that we make funds for that we are putting aside funds for every single employee we have down there has the opportunity for an education scholarship and for their children to participate in education scholarships. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So, and then we have an on-site doctor. It's They have health benefits, but it's so hard. The healthcare system in
It's
Guatemala.
tough out there, right?
It's so tough. So it's hard to even get in to see a doctor. So we actually have an on-site doctor that comes twice a week.
Wow.
And we built his own space, so it's private.
No way. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
it's private space. And he says he sees 10 to 15 patients a day.
It's a lot.
It is a lot, I think, for, for just your office. You know what I
So
mean?
this is like all your employees. How many
It's our
people do you
employees.
have?
In the facilities in Guatemala, there's just over 150 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have 150 people.
Yeah, on site.
And you have a doctor to help them.
Yeah. Seems
That's
like they
incredible.
need it. Especially at a manufacturer. I mean, there's things as simple as like, oh, I cut my hand. Like I need help with that. But there's also like, I love this story. My brother is over manufacturing in Guatemala, and he said that he would always go down, and he's this handsome Latino guy, and all the women love him there. And he would always tease him like, oh, like I have candy, and all the women are like, oh, just something fun to like an icebreaker. And there was one woman, and she's in her 60s, that she would always ask him for like, where's the candy, David? Where's my candy? And so he came down, and he goes, here, Maria, you don't want any of the candy I brought? Because he brings candy from here. And she's like, no. And he goes, why not? And she goes, because I went to the doctor and I have diabetes. And I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
So she went to our in-house doctor.
And he diagnosed.
And he diagnosed her with diabetes. And it's a funny story, but the way it happened, but it's like, that's a serious issue. You have diabetes.
So now she can be mindful of sugar.
Now she can be mindful and be treated for it and not eat candy and whatever. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So. And,
that's really taking care of your people.
Yeah.
Because, there's no obligation for a company to do that. Because most companies that people are manufacturing out there, they don't care.
No, it's
just
true.
Bottom line, right?
It's true. It's just bottom line. And so that's why I say we're visual storytellers, because we have so much to tell. And when we in our little market, our niche that we have, I call it Bohemian Couture. And
that's pretty cool.
Thank you. So, and it's because couture means every single detail is handmade. And that's definitely what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But usually you're used to seeing that word couture like in Paris or Italy or something like that. But I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, you're talking about
Bohemian Couture. Oh,
yeah,
that we have a specialty. But I honestly can't. I lost my train of thought.
We're back.
And we're back.
Yeah. So you're saying your people.
Oh, visual storytellers.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Because there is so much to tell, and our goal is to connect consumer to the maker, and we want people to know those stories. We want them to know our bags are a little more expensive than maybe competitors, because we know exactly where every single dollar is going. It's going to everyone, basically.
That's a good way to fight the counterfeiters and people like that.
Well, people ask us all the time because, there's so many small competitors that have come out, and I hate to call them competitors because in my mind, I like to say, I'm just glad people are giving people work in Guatemala. Mm-hmm. But, there are similarities, and people will compare us and say, well, why are your bags so much more expensive? And I like to say, you should ask them why their bags are so much less money. Why are they so cheap? Mm-hmm. Because we invest in people and in the product. That's where the money is really going. We are a for-profit brand, so I'm not ashamed of that. But we are definitely proud of the fact that we take care of everyone. So
it's huge because it's a real long, terrible journey for the race to the bottom.
Yeah.
And by upping the caliber, and that's one thing actually we did.
Yeah.
Because computers became kind of commoditized in many ways back in the early 2000s, late 90s. Mm-hmm. And we were at a tough point. We're like, can we just keep lowering our prices?
Right.
And then finally we had this big meeting between all of our execs, and we're like, we're actually going to raise our prices, but we're going to really up our quality even more.
Yeah.
And so in 2008, we said, well, how much do we believe in our product? And, guys and the girls were like, yeah, a lot. What if we just give a lifetime warranty? Like parts, labor, everything on our, these desktop computers.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we'll be bankrupt in 2 years if we do this because so many parts will fail.
Yeah.
This is the failure rate. I'm like, is there anybody who makes parts that are not going to fail like that? They're like, yeah, but they're going to cost more money. I'm like, well, let's explore that. Mm-hmm. So we got our failure rate to like this low.
Yeah.
Then we ran the pro forma and all the models and everything.
Yeah.
We can't offer a lifetime warranty.
My gosh. You're like speaking magic to me right now.
So we did it.
Yeah.
And at first we're like, wait, revenue is going to go down. And we were doing, I think about, I don't know, $3 million maybe a year
Uh-huh.
at that time. And in a few years, we jumped to 15 million, and then 30 million something, and all that. And then because everyone else is trying to lower their prices,
Right.
but we're like, no, like
Let's be
really
premium.
give them building something better, but back it.
Yeah.
And and it was weird. And it sounds like you're already doing. I mean, you're doing that.
Yeah. But
which is
I
cool.
love hearing that though, because you don't want to be in the middle. You want to be like the cheapest or the best, in my mind. I mean, I've read that, I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Best is a good place to be.
the best is a good place to be.
Mhm.
I mean, we can't stay in the middle. We need to. I love what you're saying right now.
Big barrier to entry, though, for your quote competitors out there, because the longer you do it, the
Mhm.
more reputationally that everybody, I think, is proven. I mean, it's proven reputationally. You're doing it. You're delivering what you say. The
Right.
story is real, and the longer and longer it goes, because when you first started it, people would go, lifetime warranty since when?
Right.
Last March.
Right.
But then when a decade goes by,
Yeah.
people go, you've been doing this for 10 plus years? How
Right.
long have you guys? Then it's like 20 years, then then they start really believing it.
Yeah.
But then the barrier to entry is so strong
Right.
because if another competitor goes, oh, we're going to match the warranty,
But without the quality.
but we just
pieces, yeah.
started?
Right.
How do I know? Because it's only as
Yeah.
good as the
No,
company.
your reputation, for sure.
Yeah. So if
That's
you,
interesting though, because our executive team has been discussing the same thing. Like, what can we do for more brand loyalty, for more customer satisfaction? Like, I mean, so much of their shopping experience is customer service, and warranties are part of that. And that's a lot of brand loyalty. So that's
your
really-
story is it. I mean, and I was thinking about this. Like, my wife and I went on this vacation to Japan, and she bought some like Yohei Yamamoto outfit. And it was like just pretty decently priced,
Mhm.
expensive.
Yeah.
Like, why? Well, because the guy designed it and it has this and has this quality and all these different things. But because of that reputation
Yeah.
and that,
Yeah.
then it's worth it. There's not a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some clones and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
But like, it seems like most of the enduring brands
Yeah.
have that story to back
Right.
and then went on a race up to quality.
Right.
And then there's all the copycats and the counterfeiters. I know that's a constant war.
Right.
It's good attrition
Forever.
some. But to be that enduring brand,
Mhm.
it's tough to be on that on cheap.
No, it's true. It's so true.
You
It's
know?
so true. I'm giving you a deep stare because I'm like, this is so funny. We were just talking about this, and I was kind of like the naysayers on your team that I was like, that's like a big pill to swallow. That's a lot of, like, what is our return rate? Like, let's make sure, actual returns on product, and how can we lower that? But I love what you're saying right now.
Here's another part of the story. Your story is great with the how you take care of your employees with the doctors and things.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of our story is this, right? So how come your computers cost more than the warranty and those kind of things?
Mhm.
But like, why else? Well, I go, well, you notice that every one of our employees, every single employee from the most entry-level position has we give a full medical benefits package to it.
So awesome.
And a lot of companies don't do that.
Yeah.
We give paid time off.
When did you start offering that? Is that a fair thing to ask? Because a lot of us brands that aren't as big as you, like, that's a goal for me. I don't have that in the US yet, and I want that so bad. And
It's horrendously expensive though.
yeah.
So
when would you recommend brands consider that for their employees, that benefit?
I would consider in the beginning when you're small,
Mhm.
because there's some laws and legal stuff. When you're a certain size, you have to offer a certain amount and a certain.
Yeah.
But at first, what we started is we subsidized a little. Like, look, and with our small team in the beginning, we had maybe like 15 people.
Yeah.
Like, I want to help you guys and girls with like some benefits,
Yeah.
but I can't pay for it all. I will show you our profit and loss statement, 15 friends
Mhm.
that work for us. This is what we make. We're going to take, $5,000 a month and contribute it towards this. And even though if we were just to pay for 100%, it would cost us
Yeah.
$20,000.
Yeah.
But that's what we can give now. And as we become more profitable, we're going to up that
Yeah.
based off our net profits. Are you guys cool with that?
Yeah.
But this will require you guys to like really helping us grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone was like, okay.
Yeah. I think
Just a little piece.
It
I mean-
shows good faith.
Yeah. But it can't be so, what we say is you can't kill the cow
Mm-hmm.
for like one steak.
Right.
If it's a dairy cow, like get the
Yeah.
milk out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like you don't want to murder the cow.
Yeah.
And so the employees are very understanding. And then, as you become profitable, look, I mean, as a CEO and executives can pay themselves well as long as you're taking care of your people well.
Mhm.
If they're In fact, our rule is to pay everyone, if we can, a little bit above market,
Mm-hmm.
and that lowers attrition,
Yeah.
and give them a little bit better benefit, what you
Yeah.
can give.
Yeah.
But you can't, I've seen companies go so overboard with
Right.
like unlimited paid time off and all these things,
Mhm.
and they're so small, they're not making profit,
Right.
and then they're dead. They're out of business.
Yeah. It's scary to know where to invest, to reinvest in your company sometimes, because it could be, well, hit or miss, really.
Transparency is the key.
Yeah. How do you
It's-
mean by that? But what you were saying with I showed them profit and loss and that type of thing, or
In the beginning,
in the beginning,
we showed
Yeah.
everybody profit and loss,
Yeah.
all the details.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work because there's a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that we do even to this day is, if I have employees that want to know, hey, how do we make money here? What do we do? I'll go over a sample month of a P&L with them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't have them in every finance meeting.
Yeah,
because
no.
there's like
No,
hundreds
yeah.
of employees.
Yeah.
Right? But I'll explain to them because then they know the why. Because a lot of times I think as an entrepreneur, let's say you sell $1 million or 10 million or 100 million in stuff. They think you made $100 million in money.
Yeah.
But little did I realize that some years it costs 110 million to operate.
Right. Yeah.
And you made, let's say,
Yeah.
this much gross profit, and you ended up losing 6-7 million to operate,
Yeah.
and you had to like sell everything you have, or
Totally.
you
It
know,
can mean a lot of things. Yes.
You know, see what I'm saying?
Yes, totally.
So when they understand, look, there's operating expenses. It's not just $1 million in purses sold that we
Mhm.
made $1 million.
Yeah.
We have to pay for the purses.
Right. And we have that in meetings too, where
Yeah.
the email click-through rate got us this much money in sales. And I'm like, people don't understand the context. So we should probably just leave that out and let's talk about click-throughs and what that means and type of thing. But it's true, unless they see the full context, there's just so much to consider with, is it profitable though?
There is
So-
something that we do too, is
Mhm.
a kind of and this has been great for executive and all over employee morale. Is if you do have a profitable year, as a better year over a certain amount, you can take a small percentage of that and just distribute it among certain team members.
Yeah.
For
Bonuses
things like
type thing, you mean?
and that kind of thing, based off of net profit, because
Right.
then everyone feels like they have buy-in, and you see a lot of small companies saying, "I'll just issue stocks to people," but if it's a little private company, you can't sell that stocks.
Yeah.
It's just paper, right?
Yeah,
It's just-
exactly. Exactly.
You can't go to the grocery store.
Right. And you don't know the potential. You just don't know the potential.
But you're doing that
Yeah.
right now for even all those employees in Guatemala. You're taking some of that profit and you're giving them in the form of like medical care, education.
Taking
That's
care of
cool.
It feels good. Like, it feels good to wake up and be like, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for this project. I know what it took to get there, and I know the trickle effect it's had on down the line, in people's lives. It's not just like, it's a new pert bag, silhouette, whatever. It's a new like line of people in our manufacturing line,
So let me back up.
Mhm.
So when did you found your company? When?
In 2014.
Okay, so it's
13.
been 5-6 years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool because you make it through 5. That's pretty good.
I know, it's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah, so it's good. Your chances get better and better.
Yeah.
Every year, really.
I know, we were put that out there in the universe. We were just talking about that, how Jeremy, my husband, was
Mhm.
saying
He's cool. I like
that
him.
he really likes you too. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure he wishes he was here. But he was talking about the 80-20 rule, 80% of his businesses, whatever. I can't even remember what it was. How many fail, and then the years into it, and I was like, still feels like we have this huge upward battle, but it feels good to have made it this far, especially with what we're doing, because it's hard to scale. I mean, barrier to entry for what we're doing now is already really hard. Like, go find weavers, hundreds of weavers throughout a remote country in like cornfields and driving off dirt roads to find them, and then figure out how to have them have a network, and then how to get them supplies, and then
Crazy.
Yeah, and then you have
You
them.
did all that though.
I mean, with a team.
You got
with
it.
a team, yeah, for sure. It's been
Wow.
crazy though. It's awesome. It's good.
So what's so far in the last 5-6 years? What's been the biggest, scariest thing that you guys have went up against?
I think it's not. It's everything is relative, I guess, how scary it could be. But for me, it's making those bigger hires, because we've been so like bootstrapping things for so long, and then bringing on that at some point you have to hire those higher team members,
You
that
do, yeah.
exec team, and but it feels like a big step. It's a big investment, and it's not just for me. It's not just financial. It's like people's lives,
Mhm.
so
Scary, though.
It is scary, yeah. So for me, it's something. One of the things has been making those investments in people, but it's been amazing too. It's amazing to see the difference in experience and quality of work and efficiency, that type of thing. So
It's crazy, huh?
yeah, it is.
One thing I found in hiring execs, some are, you know, they look good on resume, and they come in and they talk about doing all this stuff, and they just, some don't do anything, and they just add to your burn rate.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're all
the
set.
scary part.
And it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But the ones that have been the best investment ever,
hmm
are typically ones that have a plan coming in that's mathematically based.
Yeah.
So one of my execs, like our COO, he's like, look, I'll come in and I need to get paid this to come in, but I'm going to bring in this much revenue, gross profit, and this is what's going to cost to run that, and this is how much net's going to bring the company that we can, you know, grow and pay people better and do cool things and expand.
So let me ask you, when he did that, were you already asking that of him? Like through the vetting process of bringing him in? Is that something you were like, well, yes, okay, this is what we're interested in, but give us your plan ahead of
This
time.
dude did so much research already. He came in and knew. He was like, look.
Guns a-blazing.
He's like, this is going to be really expensive for you to bring me on, but this is going to be literally in 2 months, you'll pay for my year's salary.
Yeah.
And it'll just be great from there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So, but he was so confident and had a track record that bringing this particular person on, once they hit that break-even point where they cover their salary, I'm like, oh my goodness.
I know. Once they cover their salary, you're like,
this person's so awesome. Like, why didn't I find him 10 years ago?
Yeah, right? So let me ask you a question then on that. So tell me what you do with the person that didn't meet your expectations.
That's a tough one.
What's your advice?
You should release them.
But, okay.
and it's hard for me because I get super emotionally attached to everybody because I'm like an emotional person.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have your team of your kind of your inner circle and you talk to those people and you go, okay, look, is this person doing actually what we like? You know, they may be likable and all that, but yes or no.
Yeah.
And then you don't just whack somebody. You just say, look, this is the KPIs, key performance indicators. These are the results that we need to get. Yeah. This is, remember when you came on, we signed you up for, but now we have you like taking out the garbage and doing all kinds of weird stuff. And I can't pay you $150,000, $200,000 a year to take out the garbage. So I eat Hot Pockets all day. So I'm just messing.
Monsters.
So we need some movement in this to make it a good fit.
Yeah.
And if we can't get that movement, we might need to make some changes.
Yeah.
You just let people know so they're not blindsided.
Yeah.
And they either do or they don't. If they don't, a lot of times, you know, then they'll just leave on their own. They'll just like, I'm not able to do this.
Right. If
so it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be explosive.
Right.
Or sometimes you need to expedite that and say, hey, we probably need to go in different directions. But if they had some good character qualities that were valuable, you know, I always, when people leave, say nice things, you know.
Yeah, of course. So tell me, I'm keeping it on you now.
Yeah, no, this is great because I like to help both ways.
Yeah. So tell me, I feel like not everyone, but most business owners have a plan to like an exit strategy. Tell me what you, like when you think of that, like when you think of, it's either like, for me, it's always been like, most CEOs are like, well, I want to grow and I want to sell. And then there's those few that are like, no, we want to keep this going and pass it on and, you know, whatever, maybe sell some of it. Tell me what your plan is or has been. Like, what did you think it was when you started and where is it now?
When I started, I never wanted to exit. It was just more about creating something cool, right? And also be able to make a decent living doing something that's really cool that you know, computers are fun. I like to play video games and things. But there was no exit. I have some friends, though, that, you know. So
you never had an exit?
Not starting it. No, I was just like, you know, let's see if I can make some great income.
Yeah.
And my idea was to create a farm, not a hunting field.
Okay.
I'm actually a better farmer than hunter.
Oh, okay.
And that creating something that generates continual income. And the idea was to take a lot of the extra profit from our company and continue to expand the company by diversifying also into real estate holdings and different investments. And the idea was, I see a lot of my friends that have had companies that have been successful and some that didn't make it. And the ones that didn't make it said my problem was I was too focused in one basket, like way too laser focused, and that I didn't have any buffer.
Yeah.
And I was leveraged so hard.
Yeah.
And if there was a technology shift or a shift in demand and that one product became obsolete, we were dead.
Right.
And so the idea was to diversify. So, you know, we built these we built computers, right?
Mhm.
And then it was internet backup. And then it was like internet security software
Yeah.
and all these different things and technical support and all these things that are kind of related but different.
Mhm.
So as you expand, like your company, for example, you may have different product lines that are in different countries. Maybe you have a manufacturing facility in Africa and in Hawaii and all these different places.
All the good places.
And then if some law changes in one country and you just can't export anymore, well, you're not dead.
Yeah.
You've done that. And then the extra cash you spent off, I think I was talking to you and your husband about this.
Mhm.
Buy your facilities.
Yeah.
Invest. Develop your real estate portfolio to house your employees.
Yeah.
And then if the economic downturn happens again, hey, maybe most of your buildings paid for.
Yeah.
And you have big cash reserves and you have great supply chains.
Yeah.
And life's good,
Yeah.
So
You got a lot to do.
got to diversify.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But not so thin, like, and I've done this before where, like,
Because sometimes you go too horizontal.
Yeah, you go crazy and, like, invent some crazy. I actually did this. I opened up a chain of haircutting salons.
Really?
Because one of my employees, like, had his wife wanted to open up one, and he goes, "Would you fund me?" And then I started, like, funding it and got involved and wanted to open some sushi bars and all this crazy stuff. And then pretty soon my wife's like, "Whoa.
What is happening?
What are you doing? You're a tech dude. Do we need to have sushi bars and haircutting salons?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Look, they make a lot of money, $20,000 a month each location."
Yeah.
She's like, "But your other companies are suffering because."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so she had to reel me in.
Yeah.
So we just got rid of those, sold those off, focused.
So that's interesting because you were actually doing well with those, but you were spreading yourself too thin, you feel like.
Yeah, because the problem is you're a human being and you only have so much mental investment.
Capacity of what you could do.
And how many meetings, and you have a quality of life, you have to spend time with your kids, and I have kids too, so it's like, I mean, I guess if I worked 100 hours a week every week forever, but, that's...
But that's the other thing, too, is I've been just trying to educate myself to practice better everyday practices, like how to utilize my time better, what am I actually doing that's getting results type of thing. So how do you do that?
Oh, it's so easy. Okay, and friends, write this down. So what I do is a brain dump. You get it from my computer. And I just type out all the things that I want to get done and do and that. And you can get that done on a weekend. Spend Saturday, Sunday, a few hours. And I write down all these things. No, like total. Like just brain vomit
Whatever's
everything.
Happening.
Yeah. I want to start this line. I want to do this. I got to fix it. And then it's like you'll probably have like 50 things, 100 things, 200 things. Depends how crazy you are.
Yeah.
And then what I do is I put A's, the little letter A, by the ones that are like really going to move the needle. And that means move the needle financially and emotionally, right? Okay. And then B's are ones that are okay, sort of move the needle. And C, I call them crap because they're just more clutter.
Yeah.
And then I don't delete them.
Yeah.
Then I circle, so I got all the A's. And then I circle the topmost 3 important A's. And that's what I
focus on.
Focus like crazy.
Yeah.
Smash those out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then usually you'll get those, you're so good, you'll get those 3 done because you're focused like.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next 3.
Right.
And you prioritize. And so that's everything that moves the boat.
Brain dump.
Yeah, brain dump, prioritize, pick 3 things, and execute. And you know how people say, I got to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Some people say like, gosh, as an entrepreneur, I work 100 hours a week. But here's an honest question. I want to ask you this question. You got to be real honest.
Okay.
How many hours a day are you totally, I'm not talking socializing, texting, checking out your website, just checking out, and those kind of things, doing research. I'm talking actually heads down, death kill executing.
How much time am I laser focused, you mean?
Laser focused, just execute. You're talking like in front of the spreadsheet, doing that, signing the deal, doing that.
Yeah.
I
probably spend 2 to 3 hours laser focused.
You're right. So you're at the right number. Because remember, I asked this of John Pestana, $3.5 billion, Rick, $2.5 billion, $3.5 billion. And the common denominator of the $1 billion club people is about 2-3 hours of real work a day, like that.
I'm putting that out there in the universe.
Yeah, and the reason is when people say, "Oh, I work 12 hours a day, just crunching, executing," whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not true. They're probably screwing around on Instagram and hitting like.
Well, I think a lot of people and a lot of women like to think, well, because we're busy, we think we're doing something. Like, does that make sense? Because we're just busy, we think we're working. And that...
I thought just guys were doing that. Guys are like, oh, I'm so busy.
No, I think that sometimes we feel a little bit more like, I think better about ourselves the more we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do, and that makes us more important. When really it's like, I think the older I've gotten, the more I feel like there's so much in my life I want to appreciate. And so I want to be laser focused. So I actually don't even have a desk at my office. I say stuff like, where's my desk? And it's a lap desk. That I like with a pad that I'll go and I go in my office to meet with, team leads and the execs, and just for those meetings. And then, those are the hours I spend in the office just meeting. And then I'm in its progress. I'm not trying to sit there and watch you do your job. It's like updates. Okay, where are we at? Like, let's make progress. And then, then I'll get into my email at home because I'm also a stay-at-home mom.
I call it the 2-hour rule because if I'm in a location, whether it's retail or call center or anything, if I'm there more than 2 hours, I start tampering. I start like micromanaging and really wrecking people's day.
Right.
And then they
love you for it.
No, right? Like it's like, go away, Dan. Yeah. I'm like, but go in.
Yeah, just touch base type of thing. I was recommended to read The 1 Minute Manager. Have you heard of that?
Well, that's a great book. That's the first book I make all the everybody new hire managers leadership.
So good to read. Right, we were doing employer reviews, and I told all of the managers.
It's your favorite book?
Please, it's one of it's a good one right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's so good for managing your time as a manager and how efficient you can be with your team below you. So positive, negative feedback, and just people being self-sufficient. Do you think that's a good description of the book? It's
great because it's simple and it's the short read.
Oh, it's great.
And there's not a lot of fat and fluff.
Yeah.
It's just do this and this should be fine.
Yeah, and it's on Audible.
Yeah. So. And literally you can take that and immediately apply.
You can, and apply it at home. It's just really great.
You would use it on the kids?
I totally use it on
You 1 minute manage?
Yes.
You what do they call it? 1 minute redirect?
Yes. Yeah, actually.
You ate all the Cheetos and wiped your hands on the couch.
Yeah. How can we do that better next time? But really,
I love you. I appreciate you. And you're better than that.
Yeah, you can do better than that.
Okay, Mom.
Yeah, okay.
That's cool. No. So it works for parenting, for child psychology?
It actually kind of does. So I'll listen to business books, but also parenting books. That's right where my head's at.
This is crazy. That's awesome.
It's pretty funny.
Okay, I'm going to shift gears another direction here.
Okay.
So what's some strategies and actions you can share with the audience for entrepreneurs, whether they're going into fashion of any kind? In fact, a lot of our viewers are probably wanting to go into some sort of fashion, some sort of clothes product, something. Mm-hmm. Where do they start? Like, can you give them like some basic tips on how to get going?
How to start?
And not maybe avoid some of the landmines you stepped on?
Yeah. In the fashion world, I think that my advice would be to don't try and jump on the bandwagon of whatever trends you see are happening. I think if you know that other people appreciate what you're going to offer, especially as a designer, stay unique and stay true to yourself, but don't get too far out there that you are all alone.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I think that, and don't be afraid to do something weird and do something different. And I think if I would have been afraid to share these textiles, which aren't they're not things you see at the mall or, they're really different. And I was almost not going to start because I just thought, I don't think anybody is into it. Like, I'm super into, the way, the aesthetic, the way they look, but I don't think anybody's into it. I did a mini focus group with friends, just friends. And I brought the product and I just very casually was just like, I know you're my friend. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I just would like to know, 1, if you like the way this looks, and 2, if you would actually buy it. If I was not your friend, would you actually buy it?
See, you got some friend feedback.
Yeah, I got some friend.
But blatant, right?
Blatant. It was, and they said yes. And I was like, please. And it's really please do not just try and flatter me because this is an investment for me. So
They know they'd be
Tell
hurting
me,
you.
yeah,
if they
you'll
give
be
you bull
hurting me
crap.
by trying to be nice to me.
Were
So
they pretty direct?
they were, yeah, and they were my true first customers. That group, they ended up, being my first customers and buying.
So they were
That's
like your
first.
evangelists? Did they?
Yeah, have they stuck with me? You mean?
I mean, are those, so this first group of friends,
Mm-hmm.
those are the people that told their friends, and did that
Yeah.
build your base?
You know what? That's a great question because that's actually exactly how I started.
How many friends?
I got on
Ish.
my I think on my personal Instagram I had like a couple hundred, maybe 400 followers or something like
Okay.
that. And I did really ask. It was when everybody wasn't flooding the market on Instagram with giveaways and stuff like
There's
that.
so much that.
There's some, yeah. Now it's like, but I thought, okay, somebody told me if you do a giveaway, that's a good way for people to get interested. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it. I put together a little giveaway and I literally texted every single friend I knew that I thought, oh, they might like this. Every single family member, and was just like, please, will you please like just comment and repost my giveaway, because that's what you used to do. Is you used to repost.
You did that. You called.
I texted every single friend and family member I knew,
Mm.
and I asked them to participate in it. This is super small. Like, I mean, I'm talking like 30 people probably, but I think it's like it feels so small and dumb sometimes, but I can really trace some little successes by just asking friends and family, like, can you please help me? Can you please like support me just as a friend?
That's how it started?
Yeah, and they did, and then I remember seeing the first order that came in, and that was just to get eyes on my product. That was
Okay.
just basically, it wasn't like, can you please buy this? It was just like, can you please share this message? Can you please like let people know I'm starting my company? And I remember I would fulfill my own orders.
You're packing it in the bag.
Oh yeah, like I would.
UPS.
Yeah, I
Tape.
like in our small garage. It was like this size, and I would. Jeremy has motorcycles and bikes and all this stuff, and I would have to get on his motorcycles every day and back them out of the garage. Yeah, and pull out our trash cans, and then I would set up my shipping table, and I would like fulfill orders, and I had all my inventory in the garage, and I would fulfill them in my garage, and I'd get complaints from my neighbors because of all the trash I had in my driveway that I was like waiting for the trash men to pick up. It was just boxes of stuff, receiving inventory and shipping stuff.
Mhm.
So, but I remember the first time I got an order from somebody I didn't know, and it was the best feeling in the world because I was like, this might be like a real thing. Like this person's not just doing it to be nice.
Someone you don't know will give you money
Yeah,
to
like
enjoy your product.
yeah, they like, oh, this might be like a thing. Like people might, and then they just kept coming.
Wow.
So
how big are you guys now? Like, I mean, like revenue wise, you guys like.
no, we're not big. I mean, is that something we share on here?
You can if you want. I mean,
I don't think I will.
you guys pretty.
But
I mean, you guys have lots of employees, and you're doing pretty.
in the U.S., we're pretty small still. Like we have about 20 employees, and then
That's a good size.
yeah, and then in Guatemala, we actually we have a healthy team. Like they produce high amounts of work. Like it's awesome. So
You were asking about exit and stuff like that. What's your plan?
it's something that we always like. I go back and forth on, and I think it depends on, I don't know, the time of year.
Mhm.
But because it's so personal, a part of me is like, oh, I want to keep it forever. I want my daughters and my sons to do it too and feel connected to where they're from. But other times I'm like, and the most important thing is my family. So I do want to just spend more time with my family. It would feel good to, have, an exit strategy to sell and move on and do something else. But
I can tell you about the farming cycle.
yeah, tell
This
me
happened
about
to me.
that.
This is 27 years
I wanted to ask you about
condensed.
that.
So what happened is this. In the beginning,
Is this something you made up, or is this something I should know? The farming versus the hunting. Is this your theory?
No, that's just like, I mean.
Everybody knows it,
It's
but
probably, no, not everyone knows. It's just people, entrepreneurs have talked
Yeah.
about it for a while. But really how it goes is like this, when you're building something, it's like a tomato plant or whatever,
Yeah.
apple tree, what do you want to, it's a organic thing that can make fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times once it starts popping out some small fruit, I call them green tomatoes or whatever, a lot of times people want to sell it then.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people want to buy it then because they know this thing is amazing, it's good scale. And a lot of entrepreneurs, they get these offers in the beginning like, hey, gosh, I'll give you a couple $100,000, I'll give you $1 million, I'll give you whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, that's more money than I could ever imagine. And then you sell it
Mm-hmm.
and then you're out of it and then you're sad.
Yeah.
Because you're like, gosh, I didn't even get to grow this thing to what it could be.
Yeah.
So then I almost sold my company 5 years into it. We got offer us millions of dollars, and it's pretty good. And a mentor goes, dude, don't sell your green tomatoes. I'm like, well, God, that's a lot of money. It was like $5 million.
Yeah.
That's like
enticing.
A huge amount of money for us. I'm like, we'll never have to work again.
Yeah.
And he goes, trust me. Like, this is so green, dude. And he goes, you have 2 stores. You know, you're not even on the internet.
Yeah.
This is like pre-internet.
Yeah.
Like just starting. So I'm like, okay. So we fertilized it more. 5 years went by. And basically we made 25 times more than the offer. Like, we're just making it.
That's just 5 years later.
Yeah. And he's like, so I told you. Now he goes, now you got green tomatoes with a little tinge of orange on there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, should I go for selling it? And he goes, no, man. And he goes, unless you like really feel like you hate it, it's like miserable. And I did say to him at that point, when I started my kids, hey, I just want more time with my family.
Yeah.
He goes, well, hire more help.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's expensive. He goes, oh, come on. So brought in more help, did that whole vetting thing to find right people. And then I found that I didn't have to work 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
At that. And then I got to my 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Laser time.
Yeah.
And then as long as I had that one-on-one meeting with my top level executives.
Yeah.
Once a week, we go to lunch where we have a group meeting and we're just making decisions about what's moving the boat. Remember the A's and the brain vomit?
Yeah.
And then that was really productive. And then we started taking the extra money, investing in other companies that we started, startups, because we knew how to get there. And then buying properties and those things. And then suddenly you got a whole garden of not just tomato plants. You got big apple trees and things like that. And they're all popping off fruit. And sometimes one will die or get sick and you got to deal with it. But then it's almost like you have a farm.
Yeah.
And the farm functions.
Yeah.
Then maybe you have a chance at family legacy. Like if you want your kids to run it or something like that. And like my son works for me. So.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
That's so
so
cool.
He's running it and a lot of stuff. And it's cool. You got your farm, you got your team, everything's going good.
Yeah.
But obviously, at a certain point in time, you got to decide if someone wrote you a big enough check.
Yeah.
I mean, can you experience your happiness?
Right.
So you're gonna feel like, gosh, you really wanted to keep doing this,
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I've seen a lot of men sell what they've started, their businesses, and then they're not really sure what to do with themselves. And I don't honestly know that many women that have been put in the same position. So I don't know if it's a different like mindset, male versus female, like that I just need to stay busy. You know what I mean? Like this is totally not the same as like farming and stuff, but like the state of mind of men versus women and when they're put in that situation.
This is true of at least from some of the people who've come on the podcast of sold their companies for billions of dollars. The typical thing that happens with a good percentage of people when they sell their company, at least men that have come on the podcast, is they'll sell their deal and then they'll have all this money, go buy a bunch of Lambos and Ferraris and a big house. Finally start spending a lot of time with their wife, and then the wife doesn't even know them. Right. So they end up divorced.
Oh, no.
They end up splitting the goods 50%. The man gets depressed, suicidal, gains 80 pounds, gets a girlfriend that's 20 years younger.
Have these people been on this podcast?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Some of my friends. And then they end up realizing, gosh, I should have spent more time with my family, should have given more attention to my family.
Yeah.
Should have done all that.
Yeah.
Then they find a new person in life that maybe has a couple kids. They get remarried, start a family unit, and then do it right.
Yeah.
And start again.
Yeah.
And then say, okay.
Lucky they got that second chance, in a way.
Well, a lot of them have to hit that rock bottom. Then they get healthy again, and they get unfat because they're, and then they sell the Lambos and just drive a Jeep or something, or like a, Honda or something.
Back to earth.
Yeah, then they become a normal human being again. And then they do another startup, and that new startup becomes 100 times bigger than what they did before.
Yeah.
And by the time that happens, you're 50, 60.
Yeah.
That's at least a journey I've seen probably 100
Gosh, dang it. Oh my gosh.
times. Now, with women, it could be the same journey too, but it maybe could be different as well. But the one thing that I have found, so if I look at the men that didn't turn out in that destructo stage, these are people that maybe while they had time, whether it's scaling their company, in fact, Jeff Flam was just on right before you earlier today. And he's a person that's, he's married and he's got grandkids and everything, but took the time to invest, to spend with his family and hired right people to run those things so he could do his 2-3 hour laser time.
Yeah.
And do that. And so I guess, there's no excuse not to do it the right way now because all these people, and it's all public knowledge.
Yeah.
This is what happens if you do it the wrong way.
Right.
This is what happens.
Yeah. I mean, what's really important in life for you is what you have to consider. But I mean, yeah, I still haven't answered that question for me, what I want to do with my company, because I still, no matter what, I'll put my family first.
Yeah.
I mean, I will always do that. So I know that about myself already. I'm not willing to risk it, but I that's why I'm also super proud of our growth as an artisan brand, because I'm willing to be patient. I want to take advantage of opportunities, but I'm willing to be patient so that I can be the woman I want to be, the mother I want to be, the boss I want to be. You know, like I need to feel fulfilled in those ways to actually feel successful.
You can have it all, though.
You can.
You can,
yeah,
right? So
you can.
So you're going to be fine because you already know. You already know. You've plotted your map.
Yeah. But I do want the company to be successful. 100%. I mean, that's so important to me. Like, definitely one of my babies, you know? So I have to figure out where I want to go with it. I'll be talking to more to you about this.
This is cool. Let's see. So let me ask you this question. We'll go into this one is, so where do you see yourself like in 10 years, 20 years from now? I mean, if you could envision where you're going to be, what's it going to look like?
If I'm still with this brand, if I went down the path that we keep it and we just grow it and it's a family thing, I'd like to see it more like this little empire of like clothing, and because right now we're actually about to launch clothing.
Oh,
which
wow.
I'm really excited about. So it's like
this is all women's clothing.
It's women's
clothing.
Nothing.
I guess I could wear it.
You know, we have really cool men's. Okay, you saw the Manny pack?
Oh yeah.
Yes, we're like
your husband? Wasn't he modeling that?
Yeah. We're gonna get you one for coming up here because we're just getting done with them. But
I'll keep my snacks in there.
Yes. All your vitamins. But I see it like a little empire. Like I feel like I want to do a lot of the give back. I want my kids to have the opportunity to serve other people around the world. Like there's so much in this world there's so much good. There's so many people that need help. And I want to like build these programs. I'm not even sure what they are, but that it's sustainable manufacturing for clothing, and there are some. They exist. They're hard to find and really expensive. In fact, I'm subscribed to the Business of Fashion, which if you're interested in fashion, you should subscribe to that.
Business of Fashion.
The Business of Fashion. It's incredible. They give reports on, big brands like H&M and Chanel and all this stuff, but also the topic today was sustainable fashion is cool, but it's expensive, something like that. And because it is so on brand right now to be sustainable, but it's so expensive to do. Like it's not easy. I want to make that process easier. I want more companies to be able to offer that to their consumers. You know what's
going to be interesting? So this is another business maybe you end up starting.
Yeah.
Because there's a problem with people who have great products and great ideas, and they source typically from ways that are not sustainable or not friendly. So you could almost end up being a sustainable distributor.
Right? Yeah.
The person who aggregates and builds the infrastructure from all these companies and supplies and manufacturing for great brands, because that's a lot of freaking backward to go in these fields.
Oh my gosh.
But if you could build that network, you'd be the supplier. You'd be the wholesaler.
Yeah, I could. We could do that.
That's probably even bigger than your own brand. You can still have your own brand, but you can say, look, we experimented on ourselves, it works. Yeah. Now we supply.
Yeah.
And this is actually what we did. So this is funny, to metaphor to computer technology. It was totally different. So what we ended up doing is there's a lot of smaller resellers out there, and to buy goods directly from overseas, you have to import by massive container. Most companies can't just wire $2 million, $3 million at a time. They're buying like $2,000 max or $1,000 a max, you know. And so, but they end up literally paying 30-40% more than we pay. So our thought was, let's just be an aggregator. Yeah. So we'll bring in the container, and then we'll mark it up like 10%.
Right.
And so they can still save 30%.
Yeah.
And they can still make a good markup. Yeah. And we got it the right way.
So you never know where you think you're on a path somewhere, and then it just goes like this. Like
life's weird, huh?
Yeah. So that's another thing I think people should know is like, just because you don't end up where you thought you would doesn't mean it's a failure. It means you just got presented with an opportunity, and if you're going to take advantage of it or not. I mean, that's super smart.
Yeah.
I should do that too.
You're doing it. Well, you got it. You got the ideas. I'm just getting this, you got it. So I want to summarize just a few things here, and then I'm going to ask you one more question.
Okay.
So a couple things. Visual storytelling. It's an important piece of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing this from you, I think it's really important for any company to be able to visually storytell what their product is, no matter what they sell. Also, one of the books that you like is 1 Minute Manager.
Mm-hmm.
I like that too. Short, good reading.
Yes.
You can use it as a parent too. Startup advice for entrepreneurs wanting to get started. Don't bandwagon. Like, if you bandwagon, it's not the way to go.
Yeah.
Stay unique, but don't be so far out there that you're totally alone and you have an obscure product that nobody ever wants to buy.
Yeah.
Being weird is good. Being different is good. And before you go crazy with your product, make sure you get blatant feedback from friends.
Totally.
And you got to tell them to be blatantly brutal with you, right? Like,
don't spare me.
Yeah.
Because you're going to hurt me later.
Yeah. So don't just say it's nice. Tell us what's bad about it.
Yeah.
What's not good, what's not perfect. A good place to start is maybe your 30 family and friends, your closest inner circle.
Yeah.
Those people can be your evangelists.
They can.
Spread your brand.
Yeah.
Ask them to share your giveaway, your promotion, your product. Pose with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also, maybe these aren't your closest friends and family, but at least your base followers on Instagram, maybe if you have a few hundred or whatever you've got, those are great people to start with.
Totally.
And they can be good followers too.
Yeah.
So that's some good wisdom.
Thank you. He makes me sound smarter than I am.
You're super smart. So where can people find you?
So that's a great question.
Find your company?
Yeah. Okay. So we're online. We're nenaandco.com.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people see Nena and they think it's Nena, but it is Nena.
Nena.
And it's the same Instagram handle. It's Nena and Co.
Nena and Co.
And same on Facebook and Pinterest, but Facebook is actually a special place for us. It's kind of funny. I felt like I was going backwards getting into Facebook, but that's actually where we have this private group. Have I told you about this?
No.
So part of our business model is limited edition. And because it's limited edition, it's in high demand. So we have this really awesome aftermarket buy-sell trade where it groups that it's, 10, 15,000 different. There's probably, I don't know, just under 10 private groups. And some of them have up to 15,000 members.
Wow.
Where they're reselling our product.
Yours.
Yeah. It's just Nena. And that's part of it. We don't own those pages. But we do like to work with the administrators of it so that it can stay on brand, it can stay on topic, so it stays positive. It's where people give brutally honest feedback too. It can be super hard to take, but it's actually really valuable information that they produce there because they feel like it's a safe place that they're communicating with one another, things they hate, but things they love. And so, which is super valuable. So
you didn't start it?
No, I didn't start it. So a few years into my brand, I got a message from a woman that said, "Do you mind if I start a fan page?" And I was doing everything myself and I was so overwhelmed. I was like, "No, I would love that, but I cannot participate. Like, you have to run it yourself. I can't be actually associated with it." She said, "Okay, great." And it turned into what I'm telling you. And then a friend of mine, Rachel Nilsson, that owns this company, Rags to Rach's, amazing, trendy brand for children. She goes, "Oh, you need to start your own Facebook group and like harness that energy and make sure that you're like working with them. It's the most amazing marketing tool for a brand that for her." And so I, of course, we're all always overwhelmed, and I ended up starting it probably a year later. And so it's a private Facebook group called Nena Society. It's the Nena Society page. And you have to, of course, ask to join. It's kind of like if you like Nike, Nike has their kind of general to everyone. And then they have an app called the Sneakers app. And it's exclusive stuff. It's limited edition. Things drop with them first, so they get first rights to buy on the releases. It's like you get to connect with the designers. It's all these different like kind of perks to people. I mean, people love them.
It's like a VIP perks type of thing.
It is totally like a VIP perks, and the group
Wow.
used to be called Nena VIP, but
You guys own it now.
Yeah, so we don't own any of the other ones that already started. We work with them, but we own our own group. That's
Yours the biggest of all now?
It's no, it's actually still not the biggest, but it's because we started like years later. But the other BST Bisel trades are like Nena BST, Nena Love, Nena Original.
That's
BST.
huge though. Like, these little communities.
Oh yeah, we had a denim line. We launched a denim line that's recycled denim, and there's a BST page just for the denim.
I've never heard of this stuff. This is like,
I know. Sorry, I brought it up at the very end.
This is cool. This is like the future of marketing.
Yeah, it's amazing because the best sales pitch you can get is from a friend. It's not from like the company. Like people are like, oh, of course you're telling me yours is the best. But if my sister is like, I love this, and this is why.
I'm making my marketing team watch this, and you should too.
Well, it's incredible. So we actually started annual. We used to do warehouse sales to kind of clear old inventory because we don't sell in person, and we decided instead of warehouse sales, let's invite these VIPs, our Nena Society. It's invitation only, but you also have to pay to attend. You have to buy a ticket, and what it is it was just an evening where you get to meet with the designer, with myself, founders, and now we're bringing weavers from Guatemala actually to do demos, stuff like that. Learn more about the symbols, about the process, learn more about the brand.
Like a class, almost like a.
It's kind of like a class, but it's almost like a discussion, and it's just learning about us a little more. And what we're wanting to do is get to know you too. It's like
this is huge.
It's a connection, really. So then we also create limited edition and exclusive product that they're able to shop in person. And we give them timed, because they never get to do that. It's always online. You can't buy our product anywhere but online.
Okay.
And so they come, and the last few years we gave each group 20 minutes-ish to shop. And it was crazy.
You've created your own exclusive currency.
Kind of, yeah.
In a way.
Kind
This is really cool.
Yeah, so this year you should come. It's going to be mostly women, but you and your wife should come.
Yeah.
It's at Snowbird. And
My exclusive man bag.
Bring your Manny pack.
Manny pack? That's what it's called, a Manny pack? I got to remember that.
Yeah. It's $200 a ticket to attend. And it's all day. It's more like a conference now.
Whoa.
And so
this is growing to something amazing.
It's pretty cool. It
blows me away. I like how that.
We have just over 300 attendees.
Holy crap.
From all over the world.
That's a lot. They're flying themselves here?
They're flying themselves here. Most of them are not from Utah.
Those are evangelists.
I know. Yeah, we love them. And this year we'll start it with a panel of weavers that we're bringing in from Guatemala that do the different techniques. And so, like I said, my idea is connect the consumer to the maker. And so I really want them to feel that I want them to feel emotional about their products. And they really do. So when you go on our society page, people take pictures of their stash shots, like meaning all of their products. And it's like more bags than I have. It's crazy. And
that's awesome.
And and they're trying to find those special drops and stuff. So part of our problem when you have limited edition is how do I keep it limited and scale? I mean, that's a big problem. It's hard, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we also have this thing we call them Nena and Chills. And so you can find hosts in different parts of the country, and some of them, we just have a few out of the country. Canada and Germany and Singapore have all had a Nena and Chill, but you find other Nena customers and they get together and we kind of give them an outline of like, here's some suggestions of what to do, like do an icebreaker, because they want to connect. They want to feel like, I mean, they're part of a community now. When you become a Nena customer, you're part of our community.
It's like brand ambassador, right?
It really is. And so
they're not paid.
They're not paid. And I love influencers, but these customers that become part of our society, part of like our family, become the most valuable part of our company.
Do they get perks? Do they get the special sales?
We give early access to them on things. We will drop things with them before we do to the general public. Sometimes we'll do special promotions for them, but part of our model is not to be on sale ever. So our products go on sale.
That's a race to the bottom, right?
Yeah. So it's changing a little bit. I mean, it's Black Friday for sure, but then we also, you need to talk to me more about that. But but before I was putting things on sale.
Marketing genius. This is incredible. Like, this is like I thought I've heard all this stuff, but this is like all brand new.
It's different.
To my brain.
So I was putting stuff on sale twice a month. I would send out a 20% off coupon. And when was I making all my revenue? Like twice a month. I trained them
just
to
waited.
Wait. They would wait for the 20% off coupon. Yeah, it was so sad.
Kill your margin twice a month.
Totally. And which like I wasn't able to offer all those benefits to the artisans and stuff like that either because my margins weren't as good. Yeah. So anyways, our goal was to get to a point where we're not putting stuff on sale to sell. We're selling because people love it. So we have these Nena and Chills. The women organize themselves in groups and they don't know each other. They're like, I'm so excited to meet you in real life. They get together, somebody hosts it. Everybody is supposed to bring their Nena bags. They take photos together and share their experience. Oh, it's a social thing. We say it's more than bags, it's community. So
you think it would work with dudes, with computers?
Well, no, you know what? It does work, and it works with Harley and like Mini Coopers.
Really?
And they get together and they go on rides, like cyclists. They don't know each other. They're doing meetups and driving around. So you guys should do like, I mean, with my limited knowledge, like you should get guys to come together and do like gaming competitions or how fast can they put together a processor or something like
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. You could do some prizes and stuff.
Yeah, totally. I mean, really like the idea is to make them feel like we want them to feel like they're a part of us and that they're finding a meaning with each other because a lot of us need that.
Do you handle all that? Do you have like a brand ambassador, like someone who's in charge of it?
I am on there a lot, and that's one of the things is like, if I'm not on the company Instagram that often, I'm on my personal one, of course, but I'm focused mostly on like just chasing kids around. Like what you see on my personal one is very like, it's personal. It's my family. Mm-hmm. But when you want to connect to me as the CEO, as the designer of the brand, like you need to be in the VIP group and I will get your messages and I'm on there doing lives with the customers, I'm doing Q&As and I'm showing them the first look. Like yesterday I did a video on this strap. It's the first look at something new. And I'm super like, tell me what you think. I want to know what you think. And they will. I mean, they'll be like, so you're having this authentic conversation with your, wow, that's pretty cool. Direct. And you're doing that on the internet. Yeah. On the internet. That's pretty cool. On Facebook. So you're being face-to-face retail interaction, but virtually. Yeah, totally. With thousands of people. It's really cool. That's blowing my brain. And it's super personal. Like it's super like I've like cried on there, like it's like very people share a lot about their lives on there and there's so much like support that they get from one another. It's really cool. Well, that's the thing. That's hard for like some it's low-cost, out-of-country, Amazon.com manufacturer to copy. They're not going to go to that effort. No, yeah. They're not going to get it. No, they're not going to get it. Yeah. So this year it's in Utah, September. Rad. 14th or 15th, I can't remember. Okay. You're coming. Okay. You're going to bring your Manny pack. Yeah. And you're going to see all these awesome customers. It's cool. Thank you for sharing all the wisdom. It was just so awesome. It's been so fun. Okay, so just one more time, summarize the website. NenaandCo.com. Are you going to put it on there? Yeah. NenaandCo.com. Instagram and Facebook, it's all the same. NenaandCo.com. And I'd love if you paid us a visit. Great. Thank you again for sharing that. Thank you. That was awesome. Friends, thank you for joining us this week on Dan's Millionaire Code. And it's been wonderful having her on and sharing this wonderful story. And it's not a lot of times where I hear like marketing ideas that I've actually never heard of. And today, there's some gold. I'm going to actually watch this video over and over again to capture some of the notes that I've taken here and get it. And you should definitely try this too as well. Remember, there's 3 ways that you pay for this podcast because there's no monetary charge. One is share with those that you love. That's a really, really important thing. Execute like crazy, and then take 10% of the gain in your money that you make because of some of the stuff you've learned here and donate that to your favorite charity. So I'm Dan Young. You're on Dan's Millionaire Code. Thank you again. We'll see you next week.